What up, guys? It's Coach Joe. It's Technique Tuesday. What I want to talk about on Technique Tuesday today are the battle ropes. This is a really effective or a great tool for getting your heart rate up, right? Which can help you burn a lot of calories and lose fat, improve cardiovascular endurance. But what people don't realize is it's actually a very effective core training tool as well. There's something called perturbation training. And essentially what it boils down to is us maintaining a good stable spine position while we're doing something with our arms or we're doing something with our legs. And usually it's a lot of shaking and things like that. And we also use that type of training to improve stability in specific joints as well. But when we use battle ropes, it's very, very similar, but it's mainly focused around our core. So to give you an example of how this works, we're gonna address a couple of different things. But because this is such a great tool and it's an effective tool, it's cheap, it's easy to access. You can do this at big main, box style gym down the street. You might do it at a facility like Breakaway Fitness and Performance. Because it's so popular and easily accessible, it also, there's a lot of ways to mess it up. Because there's a lot of different options, there can be risk in terms of how people perform the exercises. So first I want to review how to do some very, very basic movements on it, and then how to avoid certain faults people tend to make. And then we'll go into how that benefits your core and ways to kind of crank it up or change it up to further benefit that midsection all the way around, including the hips and the shoulders. So the most common one you see, let's talk about setup first. So we have a handshake grip, where I'm gonna grab the rope like that. We have a microphone grip, where it's almost like I'm gonna sing into it. You can do just about any movement on here from this grip. Most people tend to prefer this grip, and we kind of mix them up here at Breakaway. So our general setup, for anybody who wants to use battle ropes, you wanna pull away from that anchor point, and then take a big step forward so you get just in between these ropes, and then we're gonna shake them out in front so they're kind of out of your way. The most common movement people like to do in these is those undulating or alternating waves with their arms. So what that looks like in an ideal situation, I'm gonna get set in an athletic stance, then I'll get my arms going, and I'm trying to get these waves smooth and rhythmic and get them all the way to the wall. Now, if you see me doing this, let's pretend I'm using both arms right here. So I have both arms going. But what you don't see a lot of is my hips shaking side to side. So that's fault number one, where a lot of people tend to lower or affect the effectiveness of this movement, is they don't maintain tension from the bottom of the feet or even from the quads up through the top of their shoulders. Their hips start to go side to side. So if we don't maintain that tension, we're not challenging the torso or the core musculature and improving coordination among the core musculature and the hips and the shoulders as we could be. So one way to help with that, you might just have somebody, you could just set your stance a little bit wider, give yourself a wider base, or when you're in this position, make sure you're kind of keeping your feet drilled into the ground, shove those knees out, and you'll create torque or more tension in the hips, and then you won't have that little tail wag a lot of people get. Now, another fault I see when people go into the undulating waves on these is a lot of body movement outside of just the hips. So that'll generally indicate the rope is too heavy. So this is a good position. What we'll start to see, they get real excited and aggressive, and it's kind of a lot of this pulling, spinning motion. So if we do that, again, we're not maintaining the tension we need to keep the spine in a good position. That's mostly through the middle of the body, but it does include the hips as well. So when we squat or when we deadlift, we talk about locking the lats down, which would be me taking my shoulders and locking them down. You do the same thing on the battle ropes. So if I was in that position, once I get these ropes set, I'm gonna lock down, stay real tight, brace like someone's gonna hit me in the gut and I'm trying to brace for it, and then keep everything nice and tight. You can add in walking steps, we can come back, we can go into squats, we can go step back lunges, we can do pretty much anything, and adding in those undulating waves will increase how much your heart rate goes up, and it'll increase stimulation to that midsection. So what we talked about today on Technique Tuesday are the battle ropes and how they're not just an effective tool for cardiovascular endurance, but they're also an effective tool for training your core. And I know I keep pointing here, but I really mean all of this. The way we use our core every day outside of the gym involves coordination, especially across the body, from this shoulder through the torso and into the hip. This is a really, really great tool to challenge yourself in that way. So next time you pick these up at a gym, maybe you roll them out in your garage at home, or maybe you're here at Breakaway, just make sure you stay tight, lock those lats down. Let's keep a good athletic position so we don't get a lot of tail wagging and moving when we're doing those ropes. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments below, whether you're on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you might follow us on, we would be grateful if you'd ask any questions at all in those comments. Throw them our way, and we will get to you as soon as possible. Have an awesome day.